All right. So here is module 3, interpersonal communication and emotional intelligence. So as you know, the lessons contained in here, I apologize, I don't have as much energy. Hopefully as we go on, I'll have a little more. Um, so the lessons that we'll cover in our time together is what is interpersonal communication. Lesson 2, what is self-awareness and how does it impact the communication process? And 3, what is active listening? My slides might be a little bit out of order on this, but um, uh, it should be okay. So let me just erase this part. Let's go back to this. So interpersonal communication involves the exchange of simultaneous and mutual messages to share and negotiate meaning between those involved. If we think about our definition of communication, which is the sending and receiving of nonverbal and verbal messages, then interpersonal is basically, to make it more simply, the sending and receiving of nonverbal and verbal messages between 2 or more people, right? You could engage in intrapersonal communication, which is communication with yourself, but most of the time we are also engaging in interpersonal communication. So there are a lot of components of interpersonal communication, and actually that's where I wanted to go. So let me just see if I have my, we'll come back. Well, no, that's sort of, this is sort of in line with that, sorry. Here it is, skills that determine success. And if we just look at these, right, number 1 says skill in dealing with people, 2 says critical thinking, 3 says basic use of computers, writing ability, basic mathematics, advanced use of computers, physical strength, scientific knowledge, advanced mathematics, artistic skill, knowledge of history. Look at what's most important. Skill in dealing with people. Critical thinking skills. And if you're not sure what critical thinking skills are, it's being able to think about what's being asked and being able to reason out and think through, and not always needing to be told very practically what to do, right? It's thinking through, how might I proceed? What are my instructions? What is it that needs to be done? How might I go about getting this accomplished? What are the ways that I can go about getting these things accomplished? So skills in dealing with people, critical thinking skills, and then of course, especially nowadays, basic use of computers. Those are your top 3. If you look at scientific knowledge, mathematics, artistic skill and knowledge of history, even writing ability, all of these things are, they don't make the top 3. And most of the time we think these are the kinds of things that are most important. But clearly you can see that they're not. I'm pausing because someone has texted me. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Sorry about that. So that I can let somebody in. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. So as you can see, the top 3 skills, dealing with people is the first one. So interpersonal skills are important. Hands down, it's no debate. After interpersonal skills, employers, people, they want you to be able to think and have a basic use or understanding of computers. Okay, you said that. What is interpersonal communication? What does it involve? Again, here is the definition: the process of sending and receiving verbal and nonverbal messages between 2 or more people. I said that, right? It involves the exchange of simultaneous and mutual messages to share and negotiate meaning between those involved. Basically, when you're in a conversation, both of you are talking, right? You're in a conversation with another person, or maybe if it's 2 or 3 other people, y'all are going back and forth at the same time, listening and responding, responding and listening. And that's basically what this second part is talking about. Okay. Let me erase this. So over the years, the diagram of communication has looked similar and different to this. We have, I'm going to go with my little stick figures, person A over here, person B over here. That's basically what this is. Person A encodes, sends a message through a medium, and then it's received by person B. Maybe what I should do is do this. Person B encodes, sends a message, and is received by person A. So, in all honesty, what does it mean to encode? Encode, decode. Now, y'all had 2 weeks to read this chapter. So, encoding is the process of converting meaning into messages composed of words and nonverbal signals. Okay, so encoding is the process of converting meaning, what I want to say, into messages composed of words and nonverbal signals. Decoding is the process of interpreting messages from others into meaning. So encoding, I take the meaning of what I want to say and put it into words and nonverbal signals or symbols. And when I decode, I interpret those words and nonverbal signals, and I transform that into something that I understand. Sometimes we try meaning. Okay, so let me go back to the word meaning in both of these. Meaning is the thoughts and the feelings, right, that people intend to share as they communicate with others. So when we encode, we take our thoughts and feelings and we put them into a way that it can be understood, or we hope that's understood. And then when we decode, we take those words and nonverbal signals and try to understand the thoughts and feelings or the meanings that were intended. A lot of things impact this. This process here and here are happening simultaneously, right? But there are things that impact it, and we call that noise. So there's internal noise, external noise, and the filter of life experiences. Well, what is noise? Noise is causes distortion or interruption of messages. Think about it. You're on the phone talking. What happens? You have family members you might live with, and somebody's banging pots or singing or music is blasting. And it disrupts your ability to be able to understand what's being said, either by somebody who's sitting right in front of you, or perhaps on the phone, or even through a technological device. There are 4 types of noise in communication. 4, sorry. 4 types of noise. There is physical noise, and I'll go through all of these. There is physiological. Oh, let me put that somewhere else. There is semantic. And there's also psychological. Okay. So the first one is physiological. No, sorry. The first one is physical. Physical noise is external noise, meaning external to you, noise that makes a message difficult to hear or otherwise receive. So that's the person in your house who's making a lot of noise, and you can't hear the person on your phone, or you can't hear on your technological device. It's a physical noise that's external to you. The second one is physiological. Okay, this is having to do with the body, physiological noise. And that refers to disruption or noise that disrupts noise that things like your hearing, illness, memory loss. These are physiological factors. So noise that derives from internal or human body situations or issues. So, for example, you stub your toe, you're walking, you hit your toe, and you're in pain, and you're trying to deal with the pain that you're feeling that's radiating up your leg, and somebody's trying to come to you and ask you a question. You can't hear. You like, let me just deal with this, because I really can't function. I can't mentally listen. I'm not in a place where I can listen to you, because I've got this pain that has happened or that's going on in my body. Or what happens when you have a cold and you're foggy, your head is foggy and you can't really think, and people are trying to ask you 5,000 questions, or what feels like 5,000 questions. You feel overwhelmed because you can't breathe through the cold. The air is not coming in and through your lungs and up into your brain. It makes it difficult for you to process and hear. And that's usually, so these are physiological noise problems, noise that relates to your body and internal things. The third is semantic noise. Semantic noise occurs when communicators are applying different meanings to the same words or phrases. So one example that your book uses, is acceptable profit margin. All right. An acceptable profit margin, if you are the CEO of a company, you might say, well, we can make X amount of dollars if we cut back on a number of employees in this particular department, right? We can still have an acceptable profit margin. Whereas if you are a salesperson on the sales floor and your goal is, you get paid on commission or whatever, your acceptable profit margin might be different. How you understand acceptable profit margin is going to be different. You are going to be looking at how many items or products you sell. whatever they might be, or how much of a service you sell. And that acceptable profit margin might be in relation to what's sort of going on. Well, we usually have 10 people come in every day, and usually I can sell 5 cars. But due to COVID-19, we don't have as many people coming in, and maybe an acceptable profit margin might be 2 to 3 people per 10 that come in, right? And I'm just throwing out numbers. The numbers are not what's most important. What's most important is the fact that the CEO of a company is going to have a different definition for acceptable profit margin than the salesperson on the floor. And so if the two of them were to have a conversation, they would need to come to an understanding of what acceptable profit margin can mean for the two of them. And then they'd be able to talk about acceptable profit margin and understand what the other person means. Okay. Psychological noise is the fourth one. Psychological noise refers to interference due to attitudes, ideas, and emotions experienced during an interpersonal interaction. So psychological noise is, say you are somebody who cares about the environment, right? And somebody wants to come and put a incinerator in your community. Because of your belief about the environment, even if they have a great argument about why this incinerator should go in this community, you're not really going to probably listen, right? Because you have certain beliefs and attitudes as it relates to the environment, as it relates to your community. And so even if somebody has a great argument, more than likely you're less likely to hear that. That's that psychological noise. That's the attitudes, ideas, and emotions that that you may experience or have that impact your ability to listen or hear someone completely. And then, in addition to the internal and external noise that I've gone through just now, so your internal noise is that physiological as well as the psychological noise. That's the internal. The external noise is the physical and the semantic. So let me say that again. Internal noise is the physiological and the psychological. External noise is the physical and the semantic. Okay. So, in addition to the noise, we all have a filter of life experiences, whether you're 3, 5, 12, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. However long you've been on this earth, the years that you have been here have provided experiences, right? And those experiences impact your communication, whether you've learned to, I don't know, be out for yourself, right? Take care of your stuff, do what you're supposed to do, blinders on, keep focused, stay focused. And some of that's not bad. Uh, Hold on one second. I'm getting somebody else. Okay, here we go. I'm about to stop sharing my screen so I can let somebody in. Okay, I don't know where. Uh, I'm sorry. These are your classmates. What can I do? All right. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back to sharing my screen. Okay. I have no idea. I honestly don't. There's nothing that I can do here. Oh, here it is. Okay. All right. Here we go. Back to sharing my screen. Where was I? Okay, lifetime of a filter of lifetime experiences. So we filter through as we engage with different people. We filter our conversations, our communication with people through the various experiences we have had. So if we tried to be nice to someone and they weren't nice to us, it's going to impact the next time we may or may not be as open, right? Because we have been shut down. So our lifetime experiences, whatever they've taught us, good, bad, or indifferent, have taught us something and about communicating and engaging with others, and we filter whether we're cognizant of it or not. Our conversations and communicative experiences with others through those prior experiences. Okay. So, just wanted to show you the different ways that interpersonal communication can take place. Here it is with just two people. Here it is with three people. And here it is with four people. Okay. So, any of these would adequately describe interpersonal communication. Interpersonal communication is not just having a conversation with one person. It could be two, it could be three, it could be four people sitting around and having a discussion. So just wanted to expand your brain on that part. Okay. So just a review. Meaning refers to the thoughts and feelings that people intend to communicate, right? So meaning are the thoughts, oh sorry, are the thoughts and the feelings. So Dana has thoughts and feelings. She make puts those into words and nonverbal communication, and then Robert receives that. He might think because she smiled at him and brought him a muffin that she likes him. And he might be right in that understanding. Um, but Dana, of course, if she does in fact like him, she is demonstrating that in her words and in her nonverbal communication by speaking, by offering something. She's communicating or saying that she likes him. So that's just a review. Here we go. Encoding and decoding. Again, just as a review, the process of converting meaning into messages composed of words and nonverbal signals. The words are in sentences and paragraphs. Okay, that's how our meaning comes across and through nonverbal communication. Again, I'm sort of just reiterating what was said. Decoding is the process of interpreting messages from others into meaning. So we take the words and the nonverbal communication and we make a decision about what we believe it means. Okay. The goal of interpersonal communication, whether it's 2, 3, 5, however many people are involved, is to arrive at shared meaning, right? And that's what makes communication effective, as if they're coming to